Hello, everybody out there. I have got a solo episode for you this week. And I have to be honest with you, I wasn't even going to put one out this week because it's Saturday right now. It's Saturday as I record this. It's Saturday when it was released. And usually I release podcast episodes on Thursday. So it's already a couple days late. I've been late before when I've had like technical difficulties and the editing process took way longer than normal. But this week, I was just flat out unprepared. I had, over the last couple months, it's really been a whirlwind. I've been kind of all over the place. And the nature of the beast is that recordings get rescheduled for whatever reason, put off. And the way it lined up with some reschedules and my traveling, I didn't have a guest on the docket. But I thought, I'd love to do a solo episode and kind of recap you on what's been going on the last couple of weeks. At the same time, I was so tired after being gone for 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks, and between Colorado and Kansas, lots of driving and just traveling. And I was just like, you know what? I don't have the time and I'm so tired and I can take a week off. And though it really was, conflicting to me, I didn't wanna take a week off. I wanna stay, Thursdays every week, kinda like this ego game that I was playing. But I also know that all of you out there, though I love to believe that there were some of you, super heartbroken that there wasn't a new episode out Thursday and wondering what happened, I know that you all would understand that sometimes it's okay to take a week off. I mean, the name of the game is also consistency with podcasting. I've been at this for 4 years, okay? And the first year and a half was definitely not very consistent. We would record just pretty randomly, but since then, it's been every week, and it is a lot. And you know what's funny is that a lot of people have been asking me lately, why don't you go to biweekly or seasons or, weekly is so much for, what you do and not getting paid for it. And look, I know, but the last conversation I had about it, I was like, yeah, but I want to do it weekly. I know how I am and I have to stay consistent because as soon as I fall off that wagon, it gets hard to get back on. So I know if I miss a week, it can get easier to miss another week and so on and so forth. So it was, yeah, in my mind, just super conflicting on what to do. I do think that with the podcast that I love doing so much, that by missing a week, that doesn't mean I'm suddenly gonna stop because I'm gonna just not get back on the train. I have, guests. I already have a couple recorded for the next couple of weeks. I have a few guests on next week, or recording anyways. So I don't really foresee it happening with the podcast that way. But my point being was I love to do it. I want to do it every week. I want to have these conversations. And I think honestly, that's what was the harder part for me this week, was that I didn't have a guest and it was a solo episode. And I also struggle with doing things when it's just for myself sometimes. It's a little bit imposter syndrome where I'm like, I don't mind doing solo episodes. I like to catch you all up on what I'm doing. But I do feel like I have these thoughts in my head, who's going to want to listen to me just talk to them in the ether? And they want to hear from the other people, from the guests I have on. They don't want to hear from me. And again, this is all just the thoughts that we have to fight and battle with. But it all came down to it. And I was thinking this morning, I'm like, look, I got the time, I got the space. And if I don't do this and kind of record this now, then I'm not really going to get a recap out there. I'm not really going to talk too much about my travels because I have all these guests lined up over the next few weeks. So I decided, fuck it. I'm going to do it. It's going to be a couple days late. And, you know, if people listen to it, great. I hope you all do. And I hope you enjoy it and hearing about the travels and what's coming up and whatnot. And stay tuned for all the next. But yeah, there's just a lot going on with the podcast, with me, things that I'm doing. And it is still, though, a struggle. It is. I love this, like I've said, so much. But it's not easy to always keep going or to figure out how to make money from it because I spend a lot more time on this podcast and doing things like this. Traveling was for the podcast. I went to Outdoor Media Summit in Durango, Colorado, which there's a bunch of breakout sessions. I'm not gonna talk too much about Outdoor Media Summit because I did an episode with Meg Carney of The Outdoor Minimalist. We chatted and did a full rundown of that, so I don't wanna, really repeat myself too much on that for those of you who will listen to that one, but it is a great networking event. So I went on behalf of the podcast. I get to, go to these breakout sessions, hear from a bunch of other speakers in the media, in outdoor media, and learn some things. But like I said, networking is the number one thing for me, meeting more people who can be guests, meeting people from brands, and just a way to try and get the podcast out there into the world so that someday it can make a little bit of money so that I am less stressed with trying to get it out and, continuing this mission I believe in so, so, so much. But I cannot wait, honestly, for this episode to come out with Bree from Evelyn and Bobby because she said something that stuck so hard with me that I don't wanna spoil it. I'm gonna let you guys listen to it, but it just made me feel so much less guilt or shame about wanting to make money from the things I enjoy doing because, well, in this world, we have to. Like, we can't always do or spend as much time on these things that we feel a real, true mission and passion behind if there's no income coming from it. It doesn't support itself or me in any way, so how can I keep doing it? But anyways, it was amazing to get to go to Durango too, so it's awesome that I get to travel to these other places and check some things out. Like I said, meet tons of new people. I from Durango was going to Kansas City for GOA, which is a trade show, Grassroots Outdoor Alliance. And this show is pretty special for specialty outdoor retailers. It's a great show. I've gone a few times now throughout the years with working with Tahoe Mountain Sports, repping for Dovetail, and then this year being a part of the Futurist Project. So it's been fun to see it from the perspective of a few different hats. But it was a couple days after Outdoor Media Summit. So it was either turn and burn to Durango, which I was driving to, because I really wanted to bring my mountain bike. And so if I had to I'm trying to stop saying if I had to turn and burn and go straight back to Truckee, there was no point to bring my bike. At that point, it was why don't I fly? But by then, tickets were crazy and whatever, it was a commitment. And I just, again, really wanted to be able to ride my bike because wrestling season starts on the 17th, and once that starts, I mean, that is just a huge commitment of time. It's 6 days a week, practice from 2:30 to 5:30. And I have to work around that as well. So sometimes after practice, I have to come back home and continue to work. So all that being said is I don't foresee a lot of time to ride my bike once wrestling season starts. So I knew this was kind of my last hurrah for the fall. And I wanted to be able to have some time to enjoy, and a lot of times I do just go to an event and go straight home. I don't have a lot of time to check out the area I'm in or explore anything, so I wanted to have that time, and I got to ride a couple of really awesome trails. I stopped in Moab on the way to Durango, and I got to ride my bike in Moab, which was really awesome because when Amber and I went for Rome Fest, we didn't get to actually ride our bikes in Moab. We did a couple really awesome hikes to the arches, which was super, super cool because that was Amber's first time. And so I don't know, that's a kind of a reason I'm a coach too, is I love to see people's reactions and show them things for the first time or see them learn something new. So it was incredible to get to be with Amber in her experience for the arches and seeing that landscape for the first time. And I would have never said I wish we would have rather biked, but I wish we had time to also bike. So it was great to get to ride my bike there. I did if any of you out there familiar with Moab trails, I did a loop on the Clonzo trail system. Super awesome, amazing views. I mean, it's just such different riding than out here, so it's really cool. The road out there was a little rough, though. There had been some rain recently, and there was a section that was pretty washed out, and I mean, the ranger told me going in, but she seemed pretty nonchalant, like, "Oh, I heard the road's pretty rough, so just be careful, whatever." And then I get to this point, I was like, "Holy shit." Like, I hope this is the worst part because I'm a little worried, but luckily it was early in morning, and if she knew I was out there, I wasn't worried about being super far out somewhere and alone and stuck, but I was a little concerned about getting stuck, but, it was fine, and there were cars out there that made it that, you wouldn't think that they would have. So it was a great loop. I mean, I struggled with my breathing. That's been a thing again. I really can't fucking figure out, w you know, how, why, when. I use an inhaler, and yeah, it's just super, super frustrating because it makes me not wanna do the things that I love doing, um, and yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to do about it. But yeah, I don't wanna get into the weeds in that. I was glad to be out riding alone, let's just say that, in Moab, so I could really take my time and not just break down and cry on the trail of, like, "I don't know why," like, it's hard to not now because it's so frustrating to not be able to push, like, it's not even pushing myself is the thing. It's these trails and things that shouldn't be that hard for me, and they are, and it's yeah, just super, super frustrating, and same thing even with working out at the gym. I think I've said before, there's plenty of times I'll, like, start crying, like, mid-workout because it's just frustrating, like, "Why can't I fucking breathe?" And yeah, anyways, it was great, like I said, I was stoked to be out there, and I didn't break down during because I was alone and taking my time. But yeah, reflecting back on it is just, like, hard. But I made it to Durango on Monday for Outdoor Media Summit. I was pretty tired from driving, from riding, and from driving more. And so I hung out at the hotel a bit, and then we had, a reception, kinda opening dinner that night. Again, I'm not gonna go too much into the summit because you'll hear that with Meg. But the summit lasted until, like, Wednesday afternoon, and then I had an Airbnb, and that was super nice to be able to check into and kinda be out of a hotel for a while, and have a full-on kitchen to be able to cook in, so I went to the store, got some food so I could make breakfast and dinner over the next few days. I rode Twin Buttes, which was a trail a few people out there recommended that was close to where I was staying. And the next day, again, if you're a big mountain biker or in the Colorado area, Phil's World is a very popular trail system. And I went out and got to ride that. I did a 10-mile loop on that, which was super awesome and fun, a really flowy trail, which I don't feel like we have a lot of those here. You're kinda up and down, and I don't know, I also like going up and then coming down and don't, like, just wanna be done pedaling, and this trail gave me such a new appreciation for, like, flowy trails. I was like, "Wait, this can be so fun." Like, you're pedaling a little bit, like, here, and then you get a lot more flow out of the pedal, so it was so, so, so much fun, and then I got to go check out the Osprey headquarters. This gentleman, Mike, who is in the Futurist Project with me, he is the facilities manager and, like, repair and warranty guy, and one of them, there's several, but he gave me a tour of the repair and warranty building at Osprey, and then took me over to the main, building, or well, he doesn't like it to be called the main building because 'cause they're both very important, but we went over to the other building, and I got to check that all out, and that was really cool because Osprey has been a favorite bag company of mine for years, so it was just, like, cool to get to see where it all goes down, and then the next day, I was taken off to Kansas, so I had, afternoon flight out of Durango to Kansas. It was nice again to have a break from driving, but it was just back to hotels, so quick hotel, and then I moved to the next hotel where the trade show was and stayed with my wonderful pal Jackie, and the show was just so great. Again, at Discovery Marketplace happens on Sunday, which is where it's more of an open trade show floor. GOA itself is kind of like all curtained off. It's appointment based. You don't really get to walk by and just check things out and go talk to someone from the brand there. But Discovery Marketplace Sunday is different. It's wide open, and you get to talk to brands, see, feel, touch the product, no appointments. And there's a lot of smaller emerging brands there that you may not have seen before. So it's always fun to go check that out, and there's some amazing people there who've been on the podcast. Wild Rye is there. Cassie was not, but their sales manager has been amazing and who also did the Futurist Project. So was super helpful to me earlier in the program, giving me some good advice, so it was cool to get to catch up with her there. Anastasia Allison from Kula Cloth was there, Jen from Alpine Fit. So, yeah, a few of the amazing guests we've had. I always love to get to see them and meet them in person because you don't always get to do that. And speaking of, on the actual GOA floor, Monday and Tuesday was Dovetail. So Kate Day from Dovetail was there. We got to connect, and Kelly from NoSo. So NoSo obviously has a huge piece of my heart for believing in the podcast and supporting the podcast. And they had a flare bar going on, which they've done a few events with their flare bar. So I'm hoping that we're gonna get a flare bar at one of the events through what I'm calling the WOW series, which is Women Owning Winter event series that consists of a ladies avalanche awareness night, a sled mechanics night, and then a film with Tits Deep. So we're working on getting a no-so flare bar. So I'm really excited for that because I'm kind of digressing a little bit from GOA, but not that much because I sat and talked to Kelly for a while and definitely stopped by every day and said like hi to her. But um, so the thing about the flare bar is no-so patches are amazing for any rips or tears in any of your gear. They've got patches for merino. They did the collaboration with Dovetail where they use their dead stock material to make patches for Dovetail specifically. And for any gear, tents, sleeping pads, all that stuff. It's like there's a patch for everything. But beyond repair, no-so is great for flare. And it was something I never thought too much of before. But now I just absolutely love, love, love the idea of adding patches to just a hat or a backpack or a bag, something that's a little bit boring, or my Dovetail vest because it just, is brown, which I love the old school, but I'm also like, wow, I can just throw a no-so on here and give it a little bit of flair. Exactly. So I think it's just such a cool idea and another way to think about making things like your own. It just reminds me of like being a kid and decorating your binder or pencil box or something like really, or your locker like in school. So just bringing your own personality back into your like everyday things. So I'm really excited to get the chance to have a flare bar set up at one of our events this winter so everyone can come check it out and like make a hat or grab some patches to add it again to whatever they want. That doesn't necessarily have to be repaired, but keep your eyes peeled for that. And like I said, they just have a huge piece of my heart for being behind the podcast and Kelly just being an amazing, awesome human. So again, that's why I love these events. You get to see the people in real life and connect. And it does so much more than just catching up over the phone or over a podcast. So I appreciate being able to go to them and to get to catch up with all these awesome people. So GOA, like I said, both OMS and GOA, a lot of letters here, were ultimately like for the podcast, because the Futurist Project, the outdoor leadership program I was in for the last 7 months, is an outdoor leadership program. And I did it for the podcast, for like learning some things, trying to create a business out of this. And the end of the program, the graduation, the wrap up was at GOA. So the last few months, I've been working in just a small group out of our cohort. We all got split into small groups, and we were working with different nonprofits to solve a problem that they had. So at GOA, we were now presenting this solution, our solution to the problem, with like a slideshow and 30-minute presentation, questions, and all that afterward, live streaming. And it was really cool. My group did win, which was awesome. We didn't win anything. It just kind of bragging rights, I guess. There's 4 groups total, and we all of our peers like voted on each other with a few different criteria. So that was really cool that we won and had a great presentation that obviously resonated with people and had a clear solution to the problem. I felt really good and great, and I was also runner-up valedictorian, which I didn't know they even did that. So that was cool. I was tied. With 2 other people for that spot. So there's 3 of us who were runners up. But I was really surprised, honestly. I told a couple gals as we all went out to dinner, like kind of closing out dinner that night, that I was shocked by that, because I just felt throughout the program that I didn't have a lot to offer, because a lot of folks are with a brand when they go through this program. And a lot of the topics or discussions can kind of be centered around that, or around working with a team. And there was quite a few of us who were freelancers, independent contractors, solopreneurs, whatever you want to call it. And we all stayed connected throughout the program. But yeah, I just felt at times that I'd kind of go off on tangents or something, and maybe it wouldn't be understood by others or like really be on the right track. But the other gals, they assured me, they were like, we really actually loved your perspective throughout the whole thing, because it gave us, a different perspective from like we're in a brand and whatnot. So that felt good to hear. But again, it's that imposter syndrome that just does creep in, just feeling like I don't fit in here. And I'm trying my best, but I don't know if it's hitting or if I'm making sense to anyone. And apparently I was. So that was very just validating and awesome. And so that program's all wrapped up, and it's hard to believe it's been 7 months that I've been meeting with groups of people from my cohort, whether it was our whole cohort together the first half of the program, and then my small capstone group the last half. It's been a great experience, and a lot of different learnings for sure, through different topics and just working with people differently. And yeah, it was great. Like I said, just hard to believe that it's over, really. I feel like on Thursday when our normal meeting happens, I'm gonna feel like something's missing from my day. But that was the second day of GOA on Tuesday, and that's what like wrapped it all up, was a full day with the Futurist Project. And I left early Wednesday, flew out of Kansas at 6 a.m., got back into Durango. It was 9:30, and then I drove as far as I could. I made it to like the border of Utah and Nevada, spent the night, and then I had a few 6 hours or so to drive the next day. So I finally got home Thursday afternoon, and yeah, it's been just a lot in the last couple of weeks, but really, really great. And I am excited for the next season, but I'm also at this point not fully ready. Like I said, once wrestling season starts, to me, that's kind of like the start of winter and things just get a little bit crazy, and I'm still kind of in flux with what I'm gonna do. Besides coach, coaching's volunteer, and so it really takes a lot of effort to, uh make some money because I'm not working at the brewery during this time because the schedule doesn't really work out. So I've got a very short amount of time to kind of fill my schedule with some freelance work or figure something else out. So that honestly is incredibly stressful. So it's like another reason why I almost didn't do a podcast today because I got a lot of things going on in this mind and a lot of, stress to figure out how I'm gonna make it through winter, honestly. But also, again, like I said, just always excited to get a new season underway, but we definitely have some things to do to get ready for winter as far as our living situation for the 3rd winter in a row. Our heater is, like, going out right before the cold days, so I've got our little buddy propane heater out right now because last night is when it really decided to stop turning on. Luckily, it wasn't too cold, but yeah, we gotta we gotta make sure all the winter machines are working, insulate a little more, and just get ready for, different seasonal living where things get a little bit tougher. We gotta get water, and yeah, we're, both Andrew and I a little bit behind and certainly not ready for the snow to fall quite yet. But other things are also very exciting that are coming up. So I mentioned the WOW event series, Women Owning Winter. November 14th is the Ladies Avalanche Awareness Night, so any of you in the Truckee Tahoe area, come on down to Truckee Brewing Company on Pioneer Trail to hear from Tasha Thomas of Sierra Avalanche Center, an amazing, just incredibly knowledgeable lady who will walk us through the discussion that evening. I did live stream it last year. There was a lot of technical difficulties there getting it going. But I think I'm gonna try again. So if you are listening, and you wanna check it out, keep your eyes peeled for the live stream. It is a Friday night, so if you're not in town and attending, then I understand it may not be, you may not really be watching it live, but I will, the recording will go to YouTube automatically too, so it'll be available. So yeah, we'll see if we can make that live stream a little bit better this year. There's gonna be a raffle that supports Sierra Avalanche Center. There's an Ortovox transceiver in there, some snowboards from Coalition, a Garmin Mini InReach from Sierra Adventure Vehicles, a coupon for a snow bike rental, and some other great stuff. Alpinistas is putting a swag package in there, so it'll be such a fun night. And then the very next day is a women's sled mechanics afternoon. I keep saying night, but we're actually gonna start at 3 o'clock. So that way we have some daylight and ladies can bring their own sled this year. So instead of just sitting down surrounded around one snowmobile that everyone's looking at and trying to learn from, which we did get to actually do things in that sled, put the belt on and play with some stuff. We want it to be more hands-on and interactive. So by doing it during the light day hours, we can be out in the parking lot. And like I said, you can bring your own sled and know exactly how your sled works because your clutch might be different than whatever the kind of display model is. So Murph, our handy mechanic, will be there and helping everyone out. So yeah, bring your sled, get it ready for winter. Saturday at 3 p.m. at Truckee Brewing Company. And then December 11th is the film with Tits Deep. I'm super stoked for that. Again, we'll have another raffle. Hopefully that's where the No So Flare Bar will be. And just make it a great fun evening that everyone can come and enjoy. And then part of that event series is also some on-snow meetups, a backcountry ski day, and then a sled day. None of these are, like, instruction, so it is really just come out with your friends. So having experience in the backcountry, feeling safe traveling, like, that is you have to be comfortable with that because said there's no instruction. It's no kind of like beginner, no training or anything like that. Just a meetup for everyone to get out and maybe meet some new people to continue to go out with. So those will be to be determined based on weather. Probably not until January, honestly, but that's gonna be really fun too, and I'm excited to get some ladies out in the snow and for me to get out with them and get out of my head about how fucking slow or hard the uphill is for me or be so worried about what I can or can't do over here, over there, just meeting some fun people to get out with and ride with and not have that pressure and let go of that imposter syndrome. So I'm doing these as much for me as I am for all of you. If I know that I need this, then other people certainly do too. So keep your eyes peeled for those on snow meetups. And if you're not in the area, like I said, I'll try to get a a good version, a good live version of the Abby night on and make sure there's not so much blank space there and mic up Tasha, hopefully, so you all can hear her pretty well virtually. Um, Anyway, I think that's it. A quick and dirty wrap up of the last 10 days, but stay tuned. I don't know how many times I've said that either, but I've got some really, really great guests coming up. Next one on the docket is Bree, the founder of Evelyn and Bobby. She makes amazing bras and underwear. I've got Alex from ABD Culture coming up, Kelly and Leanne from Venture Birds, hopefully Charlotte Lilly too of the Retreat Co. So she'll be returning. It's different branding, so you might not recognize the name, but the ski retreat is what it was when she was on a couple years ago. So she's got a lot of fun new things coming up too. Oh, by the way, she's doing an event November 13th in Tahoe City to kick off winter. So that's going to be a lot of fun too. Hopefully I can make it there if I don't work. So basically, if you're in Truckee, Tahoe, the 13th, 14th, and 15th, if you snowmobile or snowbike, are awesome, amazing nights. 13th and 14th for anyone, 15th if you want to learn about sleds specifically, not snowbikes, sorry. But yeah, lots and lots going on. So come check it out, and I will talk to you all next week. Thanks for hanging with me on this solo pod. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.